What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls.
Tomorrow, is the black dragon posing me duress? Yes, I thought as much. He's called Kalameet. Ferocious dragon indeed. Even mighty Anna Londa dared not provoke his ire. I see little good coming from this, but my intent is to persevere to the bitter end. Good, good. What is bravery without a dash of recklessness? I've taken a liking to thee, and I owe thee much for thy service to Artorias. Now, watch, and see how Gough hunts dragons. Yes, the truest shot was never loosed. That bat will be grounded for a good spell. The rest is in thine hands. I await good tidings. Dragon slaying, knighthood's highest calling. Hello there. What of Calamite? He is an ancient dragon. Skyward or no, he will not be put down easily. Dragons shall never be forgotten. We knights fought valiantly, but for every one of them, we lost 80 of our own. Exhilaration, pride, hatred, rage. The dragons teased out our dearest emotions. Thou will understand one day. At that twilight, old thoughts return, and great waves of nostalgia. I suspect thou hast taken a gander at it, but the dark of the abyss, which swallowed poor Artorias, threatens to devour our entire land of Ulyssil. It seems that this dire fate is unavoidable, but, seduced by a dark serpent or no, they awoke that thing themselves and drove it mad. One's demise is always one's own making. If thine wish is to succeed poor Artorias and challenge the spread of the dark, then thou must face Manus, father of the abyss. The dark emanates from Manus himself. Even if this land shall expire, thou may be able to prevent further corrosion. But even so, one day the flames will fade, and only dark will remain, and even a legend such as thyself can do nothing to stop that. Now, do not mistake my words. I cherish my work. Wood carving is a nuanced art. I would have much to talk about with that blacksmith. In truth, How is the old chap, I wonder? Still hammering away, I should hope.
Okay, that was a lot to digest. I'm gonna skip the trek back through the valley that we just went through with the dogs and put us ahead at the fog gate to Calamite. And this fog gate just shows up after you've gone through all of that with Gough. So in order to fight Calamite, you have to first rescue Gough, then you have to come down to the valley here to provoke him a little bit. You have to get him to do a pass and burn the ground up. Third, you have to go back up to Gough and get him to shoot Calamite out of the sky, and then you have to make another little return trip here. And as soon as you touch the bottom of the ladder, it begins. Calamite's coming. God, this is a badass way for a boss to make an entrance. I love it. Don't get any funky ideas about going back up the ladder after you've already gone up the first time. That will not work out well for you. Calamite will fly up to the top of the ladder and just breathe fire on you all day long. I tried it. I tried to cheese the fight that way and it just doesn't work out too well. Calamite is another boss with a tail weapon that you can acquire. I think this is one of the harder tail weapons to get. There is one pretty surefire way to get a couple hits in on the tail. And I'm trying to see if he'll do the attack again. It's the dive bomb style attack. It's that one that he started the fight off with me with, but I couldn't get the follow-up. The deal with that attack, you want to get directly behind him after he does that, and you want to distance yourself behind his tail just enough that he'll kind of slam his tail down on the ground. And while his tail is slammed down on the ground, it gives you an opening to take a swing or two at it. But it takes a lot of hits to get that tail off, so I don't know if I'm actually going to get it. Either way, though, it's not that big of a deal, because I don't like the tail weapon all that much. So, for the most part, you've seen almost all of Calamite's moves so far, except for one. It's his grab attack, his psionic grab attack, where he uses that big... There we go, this is the one that will give you the opportunity to cut his tail off, if you can bait that attack out enough times, which is mostly just a matter of patience. When he does this attack, just do 3 quick rolls back, you'll be fine. It helps not to be locked onto him and not to be circle strafing while he does that, so you don't, like, screw your camera angle up. Also, try not to have your back against a wall when he does that. For the most part, though, not that tough of a fight. That you have to be a little bit careful about blocking, because sometimes it can dead angle you, depending on what range you are from Calamite. He also has a stronger version of that neck swipe attack, where he'll lunge like a far, far distance across the valley and do a tremendous amount of damage, so just be careful of that. You can roll through both attacks. You can roll through all of his attacks, and it's not too big of a deal. There's his little psionic one-eyed grab, the Calamity grab. If you get caught by that grab, it'll do a very, very small amount of damage. He'll lift you up into the air for a bit. The really, really damaging consequence of getting grabbed by that attack, though, is it will put a little orange eye over your head, and that marks you with a debuff called the Calamity status effect. What that does is it will cause you to take twice as much damage for as long as that debuff lasts. So you just want to avoid that, and really all you have to do to avoid the grab is roll off to the side. Don't be directly in front of him while he's casting that. He holds his arms out like he's trying to give you a big old bear hug. Don't be around for the bear hug. You will not like it. So yeah, that's about the entire fight. So now we can actually get around to talking about what Gough just had to say just now. So there was a lot going on there, and there was also another really great quote, another quote that I really love from this DLC, which was him saying, "What is bravery without a dash of recklessness?" Such a good quote. Let's see, I don't even know where to start with that, with all that dialogue. For starters, he kind of corroborates what Chester tells us about a toothy serpent tempting the citizens of Ulasil into upturning the grave of primeval man. He confirms that story when he talks about Ulasil having brought the abyss upon itself, and he mentions a dark serpent, which, you know, it further shoots down my little pet theory. Oh, I might get hit by this. Yeah. It further shoots down my little pet theory about the toothy serpent being referenced as Seath and not Darkstalker Koth. Refers to him as a dark serpent, so yeah, probably Koth, but yeah, I still like to toy around with that theory. It's still a little fun one. Not completely bulletproof and not completely disproven yet, so I'm fine with it. Yeah, he confirms Chester's story, so I mean, if you don't consider Chester a reliable source of information, then you have that coming from Gough. Also, Gough shot Kalameet out of the sky like a clay pigeon, and he does this. I don't know if he's mentioned this yet, but he's blinded by resin which was poured into the slits of his helmet. He did that blind. How is that for fucking marksmanship? Now consider this. There's another archer, Ferris, who everyone helpfully pointed out drops a hat that looks like a fedora, which I was looking for. Ferris was a human, and he was supposed to have ranked among Gough in terms of his marksmanship skill. That's scary stuff. A mere human who can pull that. Also, blind characters are always just way fucking cooler. Now do you guys see why I love Hawkeye Gough so much? Although he does kind of undermine his whole point about Kalameet being so fierce and formidable even to Anorlando, and Gough can just pluck him out of the sky and make it look so easy. But then again, you can see what Kalameet's all about. He's not exactly the easiest boss in the game. He's actually, I would agree with most people saying that he's one of the harder bosses. It's just, when you know the fight, it's not all that bad. He is, I will say this about Kalameet, though. The difference between Kalameet when you don't know the fight and when you do know the fight, he's still a harder boss once you know the fight than Manus is once you know the fight. And back here behind the waterfall, you can pick up that little slab of Titanite. Now, I believe we're just going to run back up the ladder, head back up to Gough for a little follow-up chat with him. Trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing here. I might talk to Chester real quick just to see if he has anything new. He didn't have anything to say last time. I'm still convinced that there's something that he's not telling me, though, that I'm missing, dialogue that I'm missing from Chester, that I really want to find out about. Gough also mentioned the giant blacksmith in Anorlando, so it seems like the two of them were pals. Although, it seems like it could be a cagey, kind of cheeky way of him bringing up the blacksmith, of him trying to let you know that he knows you're from the future. I don't know, something about his inflection just makes me think that. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother with Chester just yet. Actually, just gonna head right back up to Gough, because I'm pretty sure Chester's not gonna tell me anything new. However, I know for a fact that Gough is gonna have some cool new dialogue for us, even though we just went through like 2 minutes of dialogue with him. That's fine, though. Any opportunity to talk to Gough is a good opportunity to take, because, again, such an awesome character. I really, really like Gough. Oh, and you can hear him right from the base of the tower working away on his wood carving. Oops, didn't mean to close that. Yeah, you can hear him carving away. Those carvings that we get, the I'm sorry carving, thank you, or whatever it is, those are all carvings that he made.
Why? Thou hast defeated Kalameet? Wondrously played. Lord Gwyn's blessing upon me. That beast will never take to the skies again. This great bow, I shan't need it, with no dragons to hunt. I know not if a human could even operate it. But here, thy need outweighs mine. Now, do not mistake my words. I cherish my work. Wood carving is a nuanced art.
Oh, right, we've already heard this dialogue. Okay, Gough, he gives us his great bow. That's so cool. That's so cool. And that is why Gough gets to live, unlike the other 3 knights. Garen, Yeah, you weren't very nice to me. You weren't very cool. Artorias, we had to kill. Ornstein, we had to kill. I had to kill them anyway. I can't pass up a chance at wearing Artorias' armor. Or Ornstein's. Both of them have really cool armor sets. And I don't really get anything off of Gough that I want, so I'm gonna let him live. I'm gonna let him be cool for the rest of time. Although I guess it might have been more merciful to put him out of his misery, come to think of it. Poor Gough sits up there in that tower, carving wood for all of eternity. Oh, when you drop those carvings, you get to hear Gough's voice play whatever is inscribed on the carving. So something like, "I'm sorry." Sounds kind of goofy, though. Right up here, I have to go check something real quick, because I'm not sure if I'm out of time for the episode or not. Man, that gold-hemmed hood really does look like the CG Grim Reaper from the Frighteners. Also, in case you're wondering why I'm wearing Solaire's chest piece and the Black Knight halberd, I have done something very, very stupid. Very rarely I will forget to switch my audio output, and sound will not get picked up when I capture. In like a year and a half, that's happened twice. But I have never just flat out forgotten to hit the record button until just now. Or I should say about an hour ago, because I was kind of pissed after this happened, after I found that out. I could have sworn I hit it. So the Vanilla Min profile will... that profile no longer has Manus left alive on it. Luckily, it's only Manus that is missing from that profile. I had this character who was just about finished the main game, but who had not done the DLC yet. And this character is pretty similar, except instead of using a funky-ass hybrid build, he pretty much has no dexterity, no faith, no intellect. And all of those excess stat points went into strength, and I got the Black Knight halberd to drop in Darkroot Basin on this character. So I did a little bit of pre-clearing here. I got the bonfire further up in the level, further ahead in the level, nice and kindled ahead of time to save a little bit of time, because I'm irritated now. This is a really cool trick that I've only recently learned about, like a few weeks ago. That guy is armored much like the Mecha Boars. The way... Oh, by the way, since I did some pre-clearing here, the trap is not active. Usually you stand on the rune right before the elevator, and the elevator comes up to you, and there's a little bloat head on there. Not much of a trap. Still one. Oh, I was saying, so with these armored guys, what normally happens when you're one-handing a weapon, especially a particularly weak and quick weapon, you'll usually glance right off of their armor when you attack them. But if you two-hand your weapon, you can go right through the armor, and you won't glance off, and you'll do full damage to them. Right here, I know in the background, there are like 4 of these bloat heads, and a caster in the background, a bloat head sorcerer, or sorceress. I always think they're women for some reason. And there's also a spell in the background. I'm trying to bait them out, because this character does not have a ranged weapon, what with the lack of dexterity and all. So, come on. I know I'm probably gonna wind up eating a bunch of damage. Yeah. Can't say I'm too surprised by that. This is the Chasm of the Abyss, by the way. Welcome. Welcome to the epicenter of it all. Ooh. I'm just gonna rush him down. Yeah, that's the attack I want him to use, the Yusuke shotgun attack. It's way, way easier to deal with because it's a short frontal cone. Okay. So, oh, by the way, I didn't mention this all throughout Ulasil Township, but those bloat heads, the normal melee ones, they are really, really good to farm large Titanite on. They have a really high drop rate for that. So if you're ever in need of that and you don't feel like paying, what, like 8,000 a pop at the giant archer? Or the giant blacksmith. You don't feel like paying 8,000 a pop at him for large Titanite. Just come down to the DLC and farm Ulasil Township. Where do you live? I live in Ulasil Township. It's not too bad. No crime rate, great education, good location right next to an endless, all-devouring, pitch-black nightmare. brings commerce into the town. Heroes just come from all over and they spend their souls and they get swallowed up and never come back. Are there any drawbacks? The littering is appalling. Shit. Why did I go into that bit down here? Oh, I'm getting messed up by all the humanity sprites that exist down here. Further evidence, I think, contributing evidence to the theory that Manus is the furtive pygmy, because there are all of these gigantic and baby humanity sprites, tiny little cute baby humanity sprites, kind of all gathered around down here. And the further you get down into the abyss here, into the chasm, the more you find of them. And remember, there's that thing where humanity has a tendency to home in on humanity. So they go after you, they try... It seems like they don't have any hostile intent here, but they just try to gather up around you. They want to give you a big, warm humanity hug. It tries to collect itself back together into the Dark Soul, because remember, humanity is just fragmented sprites of the original Dark Soul. So it tries to recollect itself. It tries to coalesce. And why would this much humanity exist down here if it didn't have some connection to the Dark Soul and the Dark Soul's holder, the possessor, the furtive pygmy? There we go. Got you that time. And as soon as they make contact with you, they just kind of go straight through, do a little bit of damage on the way. The amount of damage you take from them depends on their size, so the gigantic sprites tend to do a lot more. Plus, they have bigger hitboxes, so they can hit you multiple times as you're walking through them, so just try not to do that. This is a shortcut back down here. I like to just use the bonfire, though, because the bonfire is a pretty quick run back in and of itself. That's the invisible wall I was looking for, or the illusory wall. So remember I was talking about Artorias and his arm? I was saying to pay attention to that withered hand of his, and that he was wielding his sword, I believe, in his right hand, and his left, which he would supposedly normally hold a shield in, was not really doing anything. It was kind of decrepit. It was withered away. You're about to see why. Oh, also, these guys tend to have a pretty decent humanity drop rate. Does that wolf... Well, the wolf shouldn't really look familiar to you unless you played the game before. That wolf is known as Sif, the Great Grey Wolf, who we will see probably an episode from now again. Artorias' companion was that wolf, was Sif. And the way the story goes is that he was supposedly protecting Sif once he realized that he can no longer fight off the abyss. So he sacrificed himself to buy Sif a little bit of time, to be rescued by you, or any passing hero. And this is, this is a young Alvina, which I'll get to in just a moment. So Artorias forms this magic barrier around his longtime friend and companion, Sif, using his shield. He abandons the shield and dooms himself to his inevitable fate. This little glowing bed of fog down here, there's a drop down you can make. I can't remember exactly where it is. It's the more direct path to Alvina and the invisible wall, illusory wall, leading to Sif. And yeah, that is in fact a young Alvina. Remember how she was trying to dissuade us in the forest from pursuing the grave of Artorias, saying that it was that the legend of Artorias is a mere myth? What do you want to bet? That she's just trying to protect the hallowed grave of her old friend, and that she's trying to protect Sif from the player? Because Alvina knows that the player will go through Sif, if need be, to get to the Covenant Ring of Artorias to traverse the abyss. That's all stuff for a little bit later on, though. We haven't even gotten there. But yeah, we are going to need a ring to traverse the abyss to fight a boss later on. and we are going to have to go through Sif in order to get that ring. However, if you come to the DLC before you fight Sif, and you rescue Sif from the Chasm of the Abyss here, you get an alternate cutscene that plays out that introduces Sif to you in the present day when you go to the gravesite of Artorias. So I wanted to get that taken care of first. I always like to come down here to rescue Sif, because Sif is a character that everyone already loves. He becomes a lot more lovable when you see the alternate cutscene that was added in the DLC. Also, I just want to clear this area out because I believe that there's another item around here somewhere. I'm pretty sure I also missed a spell that's in the Chasm of the Abyss down here, but I'm not too worried about that. Now, oh, there's actually something that I want to show you first. I want to clear these guys real quick. Damn it, I can't hit them. I almost went into the fog gate forgetting about this. Just to top off with some humanity. If you gaze down into the abyss, it might be a little bit hard to see on the YouTube video, even if you crank the resolution up, but if you look down there, you can just faintly see these glowing red eyes that kind of glow like red stars on a clear night. And those eyes that you see down there are in fact Manus's eyes, his glowing red eyes. This is a fight that I absolutely love. I love this fight. I'm not going to talk lore too much with Manus yet. I might have to save that for some downtime in a future episode because I think the fight itself is really interesting. Manus is a fight that illustrates the beauty of learning in Dark Souls, or the Souls games in general. I think he's a boss that kind of really illustrates that well. Some bosses you learn easily on the fly and you have it figured out and smoothed out by the time you get to the end of your first try on the boss. Manus kind of trounces you the first time you come to him, or at least that was the case for me. And the first time I fought him, I kind of thought to myself, wow, how the fuck is this beatable? He kind of mind-fucked me. And you slowly learn, you become an expert on each move of his, and a fight that starts out really rough, with this unnavigable sense of chaos. Everything eventually just falls into place, and it's really beautiful. It's awesome learning to navigate that chaos and bring order to it. That concept of effort justification that I talked about in Demon Souls is there's that going on, but there's also something even less easy to define about this. It really is an art form of discovery. Some bosses are puzzles that operate under their own rules. They have their own self-contained logic. That's, in general, what I just love about bosses in the Souls games. As for this one specifically, because I haven't talked too much about it yet, and we are coming up on the end of the fight, I know I haven't seen a couple of his moves, so I might just waste a little bit of time and chill out and wait for him to actually do all of his attacks. But while I'm waiting for him to show us the attacks that he has not shown me yet, and I think I'm working on a perfect fight, which is awesome. Yeah. I'm gonna just kind of leave him at low health for a bit and let him reveal the rest of his moveset while I talk about him. The first time you fight Manus, like I was saying, the first time through, he is a really intimidating boss. he can make you think that the execution barrier is a lot tougher than it actually is. And he feels pretty aggressive, he hits fairly hard, it's a really punchy, kind of weighty fight. And some of his moves have this knockback built in. So it gives you this real sense of him being way, way bigger and stronger. And everything just feels so, so tough. Like, all of his attacks just feel nasty. And he has this devastating 5-hit combo that just really messes you up if he connects or if he breaks your guard. And then you get hit by the tail end of it, and you get staggered, and you just take a ton of damage from that. And then he has this nasty array of humanity-based magic attacks that he starts mixing in around 50 or 60% of his health. And he has a pretty large moveset too. And he has got a ton of health as well on top of that. And I just took a hit. Shit. Oh, I didn't roll through it properly. Whoops. Okay, so I'm going to do the run back, and this time, if he doesn't show me all of his moves, I'm not going to screw around as much. I'll just kill him normally. And yeah, I'll just keep on with that explanation. And he has a pretty large moveset, like I was saying. And he has all of this health, so all of this can kind of give you the impression that he's this kind of like insurmountable, super difficult boss. And he is tough, don't get me wrong. But some of it is kind of smoke and mirrors. You can boil it down to just learning. Execution doesn't play as huge a role in the fight as you might think. I was trying to get this point across with Calamite. The difference between Manus before you know the fight and after you know the fight, that difference is greater than with most bosses in the game. Once you figure him out, that means the difference between night and day. But that is the fun part, though. Every little attack has something for you to talk about, has something for you to learn from. And then the more you do the fight, the more you notice the little things that make him so much less intimidating. So much more manageable. For instance, if you're going to rely on blocking a lot, you have to learn to manage your stamina. Manus is only really dangerous when you're low enough on stamina to get guard broken. That's when he can really open you up and it gets bad. If I see an opening, I don't immediately jump on the attack button. Sometimes if my stamina is low enough, you'll see me just chill, drink an Estus, do something that will let my stamina fill all the way back up before going on the offense again. I don't ever want to be left with little stamina when he starts his offense up. It's worth waiting. It's worth being patient for. He'll give you plenty of openings to swing at him. You can lose one of those openings. Second, make sure you put your shield down between attacks. Even if he's starting a short, like 2 or 3 hit combo up, put it down between swings. Your stamina recovers more slowly while you have it raised. His attacks themselves are pretty slow. You will have plenty of time to react and put the shield back up. His attacks also take a really long time to recover, so even his most devastating attacks, when blocked, they'll probably take up all of your stamina, but he'll also take so long to recover that you have time to completely refill that stamina gauge. That's his biggest weakness. He has slow telegraphed attacks and very long recovery times. The most important attack, though, when it comes to blocking is that nasty, nasty 5-hit combo. The one that goes left, right, scoop, and then he has 2 follow-ups after. First of all, he always starts that off by facing the sky and roaring. So as soon as you see that, start backing up. I would not recommend rolling. I normally just backpedal with my shield up. If you're close to him and you have enough stamina, you'll block the first 2 hits and you can mash the roll button, roll back out of range of the 3rd hit. If you're close and you don't have much stamina when that starts up, he will normally break your guard by depleting all your stamina, and it'll be nasty. If you're far enough away, he might only hit your shield with the first hit or 2, and it'll push you far enough out of range that you won't even have to roll out of the way for the 3rd attack and the follow-ups. Wait for his final hit, the 5th hit, for him to get stuck in the ground and then counterattack. You can dodge roll. I don't recommend it, because if you mistime it, you might roll through one hit, but you might not recover in time to block or roll through the follow-ups. It's much, much safer to just block. The safest way is to just watch for the roar, start backpedaling, block the first 2 hits, roll back as soon as you recover from the block stun, or just continue backpedaling if you feel safer that way. This is all hard-won advice, by the way. I'm not saying Manus is a boss where you just go in and figure him out in one or two attempts. I ground this one out. He is one of the tougher bosses. I personally like blocking and I personally like blocking the combos and rolling through the big attacks, like the uppercut, the slam, the jump attack, stuff like that. He's not hard to roll through either. He's really easy to roll through. Easier than most bosses, actually. I don't really know why either. It feels like the hurt box on his animations don't stay active for very long, so it looks like your roll has way more invincibility frames than it actually does on this fight. It's not nearly as invisible as it looks against Manus sometimes. Whew. Damn, and even 2 fights in a run back, I didn't have enough time to get it all out of my system, all the gushing. And unfortunately, there are kind of other things to talk about. So I might talk more like about Manus's attacks and put like a full-length guide up. This is Dusk over here. If you kill her, Elizabeth back in the garden will die when next you come to her area. So I kind of wonder what that's all about. I don't have any concrete theories about that. It makes it seem like Dusk and Elizabeth are the same person, or connected in a more significant way than Elizabeth lets on. But I don't have too solid an idea about that. Also, the area, a lot of people say that it looks like the Pygmies area from the intro cutscene. I'd love to have someone post some side-by-sides like the Reddit thread that popped up not too long ago, which showed the areas from the DLC and Darkroot side by side.
I have awaited thee. Thou hast rescued Princess Dusk and rid us of that terrible primeval human, even halting the spread of the abyss. I salute the grandeur of thine enterprise. Please allow me to express my gratitude. I thank thee, as do we all. I will remember thee, but I will keep thy story to myself. This is the best way, for thou art come from a time far ahead. No one will sing thy praises, but yet thy greatness shall live on. For it shall be my purpose to remember all thou hast done for us. Was thine eye glancing hither? Thou needst not hide thy wonder. I am a mushroom, after all.
Okay, with Manus dead, that is the DLC completed. And we're kind of winding down to the Elite Four here. And the end is coming up on the horizon. I'm going to go after Sif in the next episode, and then I have a few different paths I can go down. I'd like you guys to choose where you want to see me go next. The options are the Tomb of Giants, the New Londo Ruins, Lost Izalith, or the Duke's Archives. And then after I'm done with Sif in Darkroot Garden, I will head to whichever area you guys pick. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.